What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? Welcome back to Paris Politics today. What's up, Pop? What's up, Sherelle?
Hey.
So,
Hey, people, look. Last night I was gonna come on, but of course it's the NFL draft, so the first round is really important. Sort of missing it now, but it's okay. But we had to talk about your leader in chief. I've been telling you, like, the boy is stupid and just a straight up racist.
Perry.
That's what he is.
Damn.
And now he's like a guy that just I want to be dictator, want to be bully, but he messed with the wrong people. China did not blink twice when he was threatening them tariffs on them. Wasn't blinking at all. Now our stock market and stuff is down. He got his billionaire friend saying, "Hey, you need to do something, jackass. Do something." But so now he's trying to soften the blow. People he have caved in. He don't plan to have these tariffs on China for that much longer. He's out there now saying that, yeah, he know that the 145% tariffs he got on there is too much. So, but he's sure they're going to come down once China make a deal. He's still talking as if China is trying to make a deal with him. This is the way he lied to people. Nobody's trying to make a deal with you, sir. You just know that you don't messed up and you trying to find an easy way out, and you're going to come back and act like they created this such a great deal. It was so great for America. You know how he always lied. It's so great that I decided to lower the tariffs to like between 55 to 60%. Sir, we know you got punked. China didn't blink. Now you're trying to find a way out, right? And that's what you always do. You hit the podium and then you start talking about it. But then you got this one chick that worked for you, Caroline Levitt. You come out here and soften it up and let people know the stock market that you're going to lower the tariffs. Then she come out and say you're not. Right after that, she come and said, no, he didn't say nothing about that and he will not do it. So I don't know if you need to go ahead and fire her like we need to fire Pete Hegseth. But either you need to fire her. I'm not sure. Doing Trump probably got her around for a reason, and I'm not going to go there and say for what. But here she is saying after Trump gave a press conference, basically saying that he knows it's too high and he's sure they're going to work a deal out and he will be lowering it. She come out and act like none of this shit happened.
Caroline, let's see if we can break a little news here. What's the timetable for the reduction in the tariffs against China? The president was ambiguous about it. Scott Bessent seemed to suggest it wouldn't happen until negotiations are at least underway.
Let me be clear. There will be no unilateral reduction in tariffs against China. The president has made it clear China needs to make a deal with the United States of America, and we are optimistic that will happen. And when that continues, it will be up to the president what the tariff rate on China will be. But we certainly need to see a reduction in tariffs and non-monetary tariff barriers from China as well. And we also need to continue seeing these companies abroad return their manufacturing to the United States of America, so we can shore up these critical supply chains.
Okay. Well, markets seem to be watching every bit of it, well off their highs of the session, but still up about 500 points today.
Okay. So this is what I'm be saying about him. Like, he would attempt to do it all. And he was hoping that he could be successful at it. But when he found out he can't be successful, he'll cave in. Now, what do you two think? Did he cave in?
I have a question. Yeah. What about the other countries that he made deals with? That's like England. He made a deal for Shein. Okay, and Temu. They're going to go there first. And what about like South America for the soy? They start going to other places in the event that things didn't work out with the United States. So what happens to those deals if he tries to bring the tariffs back down? They might be so mad they might not
Right.
want to mess with the United States anymore, right? Or what about that?
I think they still would mess with United States, but they probably give the other countries a sweeter deal as far as putting tariffs on other countries so they could pick up the business in other countries. And they still sort of need United States like United States need China.
But all this is so ridiculous. It didn't have to happen. I don't know what he thought was going to happen. Who told him China was scared of them? They're a superpower. They have the same military advantages, if not better, than we do. So why pick on China? Pop, I don't understand it. Can you make it make sense for me?
We just never anticipated that it wouldn't work. He really thought in his mind it would work because he's
But
not.
what made him think it was going to work? What made him think that?
Because Donald Trump think he's running the world. He didn't think he just running the United States. He got the big head and he thinks he's running the world, but he's not. They got a system in place already that's been there for years and years, and he come along and don't respect it. He has no respect for nothing except for the stuff he decide. So it didn't work. And he needs the world. He act like he don't need nobody, but he see very quickly, everybody need everybody else. You need the world. You can't isolate yourself like that and think you're going to run things.
But
So
don't you think now the world is hesitant to make any kind of deals with Donald Trump because he acts like this?
Without a doubt. He lost his credibility.
Yeah.
But everybody, they kind of know it ain't the United States is who's running the country right now. Everybody know who feet lays at is Donald Trump.
I don't see China backing all the way down. Does anybody on this panel see them backing down?
Not right now. Because they can't control China. China got their own profitability, they got their own products that they sell, they got their own powerful people respect them, because they're powerful and stuff. They didn't start this, and they're not bothering nobody. It's the United States, but the United States act like they're the only game in town. You know how some people, big bully on the block, be like they're the only game in town, but they're not the only game. They can make it without United States import.
Well, look, it's even worse than that. What about this TikTok thing? What if China doesn't bow down for TikTok and they go ahead and ban it in the United States and everybody else has TikTok?
I don't know how to say.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I think. He is messing everything up. We're going to be a third world country because nobody wants to make deals with the United States because our president is a full-on nut job and a bully. He started this for no reason. If he had a reason, maybe everybody would understand it. But you just picked on China for no reason. None.
Right. I mean, that's how he is. I mean, but Lily said this too, support what you're saying. Like, yeah, China needed United States, but China can make it without us, right?
Yeah.
He don't make deals with Canada, Mexico, and Tokyo, right? And other places. So I think China can have it pretty much all, make deals with these people, then come back. Because Trump need China. Women in United States need Temu. All these stuff that's over there. People want things from China. Huh? What is it?
Shein.
Shein, that's what it is. Okay. But whatever, the products and stuff. Televisions, computers, we all want stuff from China. Trump did it, Sherelle, to try to be tough. He wanted to put on a show for the world to see. Is a new dictator in town, and his name is Trump. Right. Forget what you're thinking about Putin and the rest of them. I'm in charge. And the reason why he tried to slap China instead of another small nation, because it makes him look tougher. If you make China back down and you deporting every migrant it is in the United States, MAGA is loving you. And now, he don't give a damn about MAGA, but he like this respect, so-called respect. He want people to put some respect on his name. But the sad thing is he just always doing stupid shit. and then bouncing out like a coward. And he expects us to think, oh, China must make a deal with me. No, you got to make one with them. And then he's like, yeah, we've been in contract talks and stuff like that. China came out and said, no, they haven't. So he's such a big liar.
And this is affecting me now. Everybody know I wear wigs. Where am I getting my wigs from now? They came from China. Like, where hair extensions, all that stuff. China.
You better find one in Australia. I'm just saying. I mean, because it's coming down. So
Yeah.
And now you know how when shit start, right? Like it just start off, it pops off. He'll dig himself in a big hole. Then he'll come with a damn distraction, right?
Mhm.
So now, and this is a serious distraction that is dangerous for America. Now that he don't lost this tariff war with China, now Trump has directed the Department of Defense, Pete Hegseth, to move additional forces equipped for combat into the Middle East.
What?
So, if you can't win at this, let's distract people. I can't bring America back, together by lowering food prices and things like that. But most of the time, when United States go to combat with people, I don't want to say the other word, combat with people, it brings us closer. So now he wants us to be close, but at the end of the day, he don't give a damn about it. And he's trying to deport everybody he can. So this is his distraction. He's sending more people over there because they having this thing out with Yemen over there. They trying to, do whatever. But
no.
that's the next stop. He's sending troops over there, a couple of aircraft carriers. So he's positioning himself for something.
Oh no. Are you saying he's trying to start a WAR? Is that what you're saying?
And I believe he will, because you got Yemen over there, and then he's out there threatening Iran, right?
Oh no.
He's basically saying that if they don't work something out with their nuclear program, he's not going to take nothing off the table, if you know what I mean. He ain't going to take nothing off the table. So that's why I think we sort of heading when he can't, lower egg prices, bring back up the stock market, make homes affordable. Now he want to turn to, we're going to send troops over.
I mean, I agree with you on that, but there's a bigger goal here. If he has the country in WAR, I don't know if I can say that word.
Right.
Then his plan is to stay as president. So they passed something, it had to be a year ago, saying that if there was a sitting president and there was a current WAR going on, then they have the right to stay on because the country would. So he's trying to head for that dictatorship. And I believe he's going to try to start a WAR with anybody and everyone that you can. But if you go to the Middle East, you went to Saudi Arabia, those WARs are dangerous. And just, I don't, we got to send our children over there. My children are both in the draft age. Why to start a useless? And if I'm wrong, Pops, didn't Nixon do that with the Vietnam WAR? Didn't he do that on purpose or something like that?
No, he just promised to end it and didn't. Nixon did. He got off and said he was going to end the war, and he didn't. He escalated it.
Mm-hmm. I feel like, because Pop just said the word, I feel like Donald Trump is intentionally trying to start a war. That's a part of his plan to stay in power.
Yeah, he said today that it's ways for him to stay in power and run again.
Oh no!
So that showed what he planning right there.
Because if he starts messing with the Middle East, they're gonna come over here. They're gonna be doing 9/11 us. They're not gonna sit back anymore and just attack in their country. They're gonna come over here.
But don't worry, the American people are gonna stop him. He's just digging a hole for himself. He's not going to war. They ain't gonna let him go to war. unless China attack us or something in between time. Something like that might happen because they see we're weak right now, so you can't say what they'll do. But if he tried to go to war, I don't think he'd get the American people support.
Well,
Yeah, but we would have no choice.
He don't do shit by the book. Like, and even when you sending these extra troops over there and all that stuff, he's supposed to have congressional approval. He sent them a note after he directed the drunk Pete Hegseth that they're sending more troops over there. Then he sent Congress a note letting them know what he's doing. So he's definitely an idiot, right? But I just think this, and because him and what's the place over there with Palestine? Israel.
Benjamin Netanyahu.
It's too much action going over there for me not to think it's gonna be a WAR. Because you got Yemen, and I think Yemen is tied to Iran. Then he's talking about their nuclear weapons, right? And nothing take your mind off the price of eggs and all that besides WAR. So I think he's trying to position something like that. And remember how he was threatening Greenland, Panama Canal. He's itching for something. It's that wannabe dictator in him that he got to make a big splash, whether it's WAR or punking China with a tariff war. He got to get some kind of wind under his belt because he cannot lower the price of food in the United States, make home affordable in the United States. So he's reaching for these other things. That's what I'm thinking.
I was and is a military wife. Perry went to war. He was in the Marines, and he was the first one called. He was on the first line. I hate war. I hate it. And I just pray it doesn't happen, but I'm not dumb. He's sending people over there. Pal, you still think this is about to go down. They're already there.
I know he's under their standby, but I don't think the American people let it happen. He might try, but they gonna stop him in the end. You think his popularity bad now? If he go to war, it's gonna be even worse. I think the only hope of Donald Trump getting out of here, I just believe that in my heart, is the American people is the only one that can do it. I don't think Congress can do it. I don't think none of them can do it right now because he ain't going by no laws, So they written the Constitution for nothing as far as he's concerned. But I think the American people in the end is the ones going to get him out of there. I just believe it.
I wanted to say this. Yes, Perry used to be in the military. He was a Marine on the front lines, the very first people to go into Iraq. And my father also fought in the Vietnam War. So I'm really paranoid about wars because I know what it does to the people that go over there, what it does to the families that's left behind is devastating. It's just devastating.
And that's a fact. So
it scares me.
That's what I think Trump's doing right now. I think he's trying to position things where he got options. If he can't make America great again by lowering food prices and all that stuff, he gonna do something more like what a dictator would do. Start some shit somewhere. So I think he's setting this stuff up. But that's the update on what's going on with the Middle East. But he's using the military as for everything, almost like what a dictator would do, right? So now Trump has, not sure if you know it now, he's trying to deport people. That's with no due process. He's doing all that. But having a lot of stuff came from the border. The border is supposed to be sort of quiet at this point. Because he don't send over 5,000 troops down there to the American border, military people.
Across the Mexico?
United States, on Mexico border, he don't send over 5,000 troops down there.
For what?
To stop people from coming over the border. He's using military for this. Remember, he's supposed to build a wall, build a fence, all this shit years ago. Got all these people doing these things. But he sent them down there, and here's a little clip.
We're at Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas, when the Army delivered more than 50 armored Stryker fighting vehicles.
He's checking the DC.
Designed for the battlefield, they are a centerpiece of President Trump's plan to seal the southern border.
No weapon systems on this one.
No, there's no weapon system on this one. Like, again, we're just using the capability of the camera right now for scanning and detecting.
Sergeant First Class Carlos Zamora is one of the soldiers from Fort Carson, Colorado, using thermal and infrared cameras on the striker, watching for the tiniest movements along the border.
Even like a little mouse.
Up to a little mouse?
Yeah, up to a little mouse, like up to like a mile out.
With the strikers and soldiers, President Trump is creating a border barrier that is more than just a wall. He has now authorized the military to take control of a 60-foot strip of federal land along the border, stretching from California to New Mexico. Now, migrants would be crossing into a military installation. It would allow soldiers to make apprehensions, a job that, until now, has been reserved for the Border Patrol.
These strikers can carry as many as 9 people. The ones that are here now have been stationary, but they can go on patrol if that's something Border Patrol needs. When crossings have dropped as much as they have, do you still need that extra observation help?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do, because the terrain is very tricky.
Border Patrol agent Orlando Marrero Rubio showed us how improved access to busy crossing zones helped drastically cut border crossings before the Army arrived. There were about 7,200 crossings during the entire month of March. In 2023, there were some days when more than 10,000 people crossed. On a mountain where foot trails have been worn into the hillside, on this morning, we didn't see a single person trying to cross.
Okay. So what's your? I mean, that's what I was gonna say. Look, so he's doing all that stuff. He's using the military. Next, he'll be using them for his own private protection as he go through the city, like most dictators do, right? But I was just letting you know what he did.
I just want to remind people that the undocumented workers come over here because they want to work.
Mm-hmm.
They want to work so they can send out money home to their families. Also, to be an undocumented worker is a civil crime, not a criminal crime. You're turning it into a criminal crime. Well, you send the military over there to scare the daylights out of them. And if something happens to anybody trying to cross over, United States, the average citizen is going to have a fit because the military isn't supposed to be there to begin with. You're turning this into a major crime that warrants the military now. Pop, what are your thoughts on this nonsense?
Well, I think it's a waste of taxpayer people money. They can do it better than that. And if you're really going to keep them out like you're trying to do, then don't use the military, build a damn wall if that's what you want. You know, there's other ways to keep them out there. Because what military is, you know, what about they start shooting them or something?
That's what I'm saying.
Or they start shooting back, they start sniping them off. So they're going to have a mess on their hands because you shouldn't be using the military to begin with because they got police for that. You know, the Border Patrol is the police of the border. That's their job, you know, and Homeland Security. You know, so why are you going to use the military when you already got a military that controls that kind of stuff? You know, but getting back to what we were saying before, I think Trump trying to make a mess before he can stay in office and probably go to war just before he get out of office.
Yep.
He said today he had you know, he know how his ways you can stay in office. He said it on TV today. So he's thinking like that.
Yeah, no, and that's true. I mean,
but it's not going to work.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, he definitely would try something like that. Anything to stay in power.
Yeah, he ain't leaving freely because his time is up. Because you're already thinking, why are you talking like that already? And the president's election is years away.
Yeah. Oh, no.
He's only been in for 90 days. He plotting already how he's going to stay in. But I still say in the end, the American people ain't going to stand for it, and you're going to win. Yeah, he's going to try a lot of stuff, and we're going to get hurt with a lot of stuff. We're going, but it ain't going to be like he thinks it's going down. The American people, you'll see, is not going to work because the American people ain't going to let it work. This here is all of the American people to stop what he's trying to do and to get him out of office if we don't do no better. And that's who's going to do it. You know,
I hate how he's turned being an undocumented worker from a civil crime to a criminal crime. He's sending people to El Salvador to live in these, what I call death camps. It's just ridiculous. He's just a horrible human being. And he's messed up the United States so bad. And he hasn't even been in office 100 days yet. It's crazy. They voted for him, and he's going to get worse and worse and worse. And I heard a blogger come on today apologizing. I don't want to hear it for voting for Trump. If you voted for Trump and you changed your mind, keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself. When they say it, I feel like they want pity or sympathy, or don't say it because we don't care. You already did it.
Well, nobody in their right mind, I don't see how you could if you're in your right mind, ever thought he would be like he is. He would turn like that. Where, I don't believe. Now, a lot of people agreed that they should have closed the border. So a lot of people voted for that stuff. But I don't believe nobody in their right mind could have thought he'd become president and do what he's doing.
Yeah. And now that he's president, he's taking advantage of everything like he did the first time. How many connections did his daughter get hooked up with in China and all these places? His whole family got paid.
Yep.
Now, a lot of, people say, well, damn, Ivanka did this. They got paid. They got all these contracts and all that shit. And so now he's definitely trying to stay in office. Now he's got all this gear out there. He's selling hats. What kind of president that come on here sell tennis shoes?
Yeah.
Selling shit out the back of your trunk. Now hats and all this make America great when you ain't lowered a damn price in America. But the MAGA people will keep buying this shit. The MAGA people, if you want to be called MAGA,
even if it's hurting them, Perry. It's hurting their pockets. So what kind of idiots are they? Like, I'm gonna vote for somebody that make food so high it's hard for me to eat.
Yeah,
they keep voting for him. It's crazy.
No, that's a fact. But I tell you what,
do MAGA want to go to war too?
Yeah. I think they would like that, right? They want him to flex his power. And now they wouldn't want to go to WAR, but they don't mind him sending other people. MAGA is those kind of people. They just as a coward as Trump is.
Pop, if you can, you don't have to. If you want to, I want you to share the worst part of Vietnam. These people don't understand. These young kids coming through today, they really haven't been through a war yet. I mean, it's ugly. Tell them it destroys who you are. You were so nervous when you came back. When you hear a sound, you thought it was a bomb. Remember?
It feels like, to the young people, it'll feel like if you had a driveway shooting, ride by in your neighborhood and was shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Same exact feeling.
Every day, right?
Yeah. You just panic, or you don't never know what's going to happen. Same thing. If they got drive-by shooting, they come by, shoot up the property, you're scared to death because you don't know where the bullet's going to hit. Then they do it the very next day. It don't stop. It ain't like for months.
Mm-hmm.
It's every day because you're in war. So, of course, it's going to make you nervous. It's going to make you look around and you reach a point sometime when you figure you ain't gonna ever make it back no ways. What the hell? So
you felt that way?
Yeah, after a while, after about 6-7 months of all the shooting stuff, you figure, what the hell? I ain't gonna make it back no way. But the catalyst, the bad part of, I think, was Vietnam is stuff you don't see. Like so everybody over there, almost everybody, I can say that with a clear conscience, 95% smoke herb. Bought the reefer from the enemy. Sit and smoke with him.
Wait, what?
Every single day. We wasn't fighting.
For your nerves, keep your nerves calm.
Yeah, to keep you calm and high, So mostly a reefer war over there. They had all kind of drugs, and most of us over there was hooked on something. If he wasn't, you were smoking reefer every day. You know, if because they had all kind of, they were smart people. So they just let everybody, well, we bought the stuff, so they kept everybody drugged up, you know, not really care. So nobody was really in the war. You wasn't over there fighting for nothing. You didn't know what you was fighting for. Come to find out, you were fighting for some resources to make tires at Goodyear and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We never knew we was over there fighting for. I didn't know what I was over there fighting for until maybe when I got home 5 years later. You know, was just seeing young guys over there get killed over some stuff that don't make no difference is ludicrous to me, you know, and that's what they seem like they're trying to do today. But another thing, when is WAR over there or in the country? The business people make money.
Yep.
They
Military
make money
equipment.
off of wars. Yeah,
Oh,
they make
wow.
money off of war. So, you know, they all for it and stuff, you know. So
That's
They're all for it
yeah, because
until.
they make money.
But if they were
Well,
in the military, they wouldn't be for it. You lose lives. I'm sure you probably lost friends because what happens is, I mean, did it happen this way? The bombs will go off and you would have to go fight, and then whoever came back came back. Like,
yeah,
how did,
that's what war is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perry, you were in war. Tell them it's no joke. It's
No,
not.
it's no joke. But I mean, to answer what you're saying too, though, like when you talk about these business people, we're not talking about soldiers. They probably never was, never would be. They making money. And when you get people like Trump and these people that send you to war, they ain't sending their own kids to war.
Yeah.
And let's keep it real. To them, we just another number. A service member, I'm only something to you. I'm your husband. But to these people who sending now people to WAR, you just another number. And it's a real serious thing, like that people just say, well, war, it was over, this and that. You don't know what the shit you go through. You out here in these countries going straight up with people. It ain't no club, no McDonald's. It's you and the enemy. They fire, you fire. A lot of destruction, a lot of bodies all over the place. And that's some shit. I know shit happened in the United States. It might be a drive-by. It might be that. I have never in my life seen these many bodies.
Okay, let's not talk about it.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying, like, and it's real, whether it's your family member or from the other country. A life is a life. A lot of lives was lost. And that's why I think Trump is a coward for not helping out Ukraine when Putin definitely invaded them. Now Trump, well, hopefully things will stop. Stop Putin. He do it in a message to try to act like he give a damn. That's your boy. And whatever deal you tried to strike with them, it was only for Putin to gain land and Ukraine to get nothing. So all that stuff is politics and is a mess. But rest assured, whoever Trump, all those troops he sent over there, he don't give a damn about them. He give a damn about wanting to be a dictator to flex his muscles as if he's over there fighting. And that what pisses me off. And then you got the idiot, the drunk, while all this serious stuff going on in the Pentagon, Pete Hegseth. Now he too busy wanting to construct a makeup studio. What kind of grown ass man in the Pentagon need a makeup room?
Harry, none of our generals had makeup rooms. He's worried about the wrong things. He's not qualified enough to handle that job.
You know what? Most people in the Pentagon, you never see. You see him every day. He still think he a part-time anchor at Fox. Now, I guess that's why he need the makeup room. I guess he wants some ruby red lipstick. While you got him doing that, then you got the vice president like eyeliner. I mean, what's that, eyeliner?
We never seen Cole and Paul in makeup. Your point is he's focusing on the wrong things because he's not qualified to do that job. And I believe my father. By the time Donald Trump leaves office, if he leaves, we're going to war. That's it, you guys. So everybody prepare. It's another thing to add on the list of what he's doing wrong. Now he's already sent the troops over there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're gone. So that's that. And then I want to touch on some little, well, when I say small, not small, but things that happened this week. A judge had halted the mandate requiring proof of citizenship by the federal voters, reciting president overreached. Like, remember Trump came up with that thing requiring you to have all this proof before you vote, and that would hurt a lot of women. That their name, you would have to have your birth certificate have to match your ID and all this different stuff. That would hurt women that got married. And I think they say what they say about 80, 70, 80% of women who get married change their name. So the judge stopped that and said, basically, it's some parts about it she wasn't going to allow to happen. And I think that's it. Because then they fuss about real ID. Some states got the real ID where you show all this stuff to get, like we had to do in Vegas. It's supposed to help you, like basically like a semi passport or whatnot.
Yeah.
They saying you wouldn't be able to use that to go and vote.
Oh wow, they're trying to suppress voting again.
Exactly. And all
I
this
don't
stuff.
even know why they're trying. They're just going to cheat. Whoever heard of a president who don't want people to vote? He know he's a crook, just like you said, Pop. He's a crook. Are they going to suppress the vote again this election, Pop? I think they will.
I mean, I believe, like I keep saying, that I believe that the people's going to stand up. But yeah, if the people didn't stand up and just took it, yeah, he just stay in office forever. You know what I'm saying? Every time he get ready to get reelected, he just come with a new rule. He can make laws now. He's untouchable. They can't kick him out. You know, they made him untouchable when they say he can't stand up for crowd. He done every crime in the book, and he's still out of jail. You know, still out. Done more stuff than any gangster I know.
Yeah.
You know, case after case. You know, he was guilty of all charges, and still he out. So he really believes in his mind he's untouchable. That's why he's making such silly laws, because he acting like he God Almighty, but he ain't. He's just a man, you know, with a big ego. So that's why he's making all these mistakes. Because anybody with common sense, any God-fearing man, God-fearing man would not be looking for a war to go to.
Yeah.
Wouldn't want people to be hungry.
Yeah.
They're not stupid. They know most minorities ain't got no money out here.
Right.
They live from Friday to Friday. If you get paid every week, with most jobs is every 2 weeks. So they know they hungry, we out here, but they don't care because they do not, I just believe this in my heart, they do not look on us as people, as human beings. They just don't. They think we ain't got no money. I don't even know why you're here on the face of the earth.
Right.
You know, they straight for the money case. You know, we ain't got money, ain't gonna have money, but the ordinary people gonna bring them down. It takes the ordinary people to bring them down, and the government ain't gonna do it because the people that's running the government on the Democrat side is the sorriest individual I ever met.
Yeah, that's a fact.
You know, the kind of people that when I was growing up, we kick on the playground, we take his ball and kick sand in his eyes.
So wait, you're saying that the Democrats aren't fighting hard enough? What do you think they should do?
They're scared to death.
But what do you think they should do?
Well, at least you got to get up and say what he's doing is wrong. What they know he's trying to do, tell the truth, what he's trying to do, and that I'd rather be out of office before I sit there and stand behind a man like that. If you got to quit, march, do something to show that you ain't in the bed with him.
Yeah.
You know, but they acting like little sissies.
Especially Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer, I don't know.
Disappointed. I'm so disappointed in him. I don't know what to do. When he goes on TV now, I change the channel.
Yep.
I really do. I didn't look at it.
He must do something to these people because all of them are fearful. All the senators and congressmen and women are scared of Donald. They're physically scared of this man.
Yeah.
So he must do
Right,
something. I don't-
because he
Well,
probably know a lot of stuff on him, and they scared it's gonna come out. You know,
Mhm.
you most time you scared they ain't gonna talk in public. If I know Perry got a lot of information on me, and they say Perry over there talking about you on Channel 5, I think I ain't gonna say too much because I know he know too much about it. You know, so
because they
all of
said,
them dirty as they can be. You know,
yeah.
Now,
you
see,
know.
that's a trip too. But in other news too, I'm not sure if y'all heard about in Wisconsin, right? The FBI, Cash Patel, sent his boys in and arrested this federal judge, right? Hannah Dugan, for allegedly assisting undocumented immigrants and invading immigration authorities. This is in Wisconsin. So I guess the migrant was in there taking care of a ticket, like a misdemeanor or whatever. ICE come in to try to get him, and they got some kind of not a warrant per se. It it wasn't a straight warrant, right? But the judge didn't find it good enough for to let them take him. So she was going to push it up to the chief judge. So they was going back and forth on who had the right. So she let the migrant leave, and so now they trying to arrest her for saying she helped the migrant invade ICE.
I
Let
think
me
I
see.
heard something about this. You're saying that they're starting to arrest undocumented workers at the courthouse. If they think they're going to go in and clear something up, it don't do it because it's a, what do you call it? A lure. It's a trap to arrest more. And
She
then
was
you're
the
going to end
judge.
up, yeah.
She was the judge, Sherelle.
Say it again.
This is what she was the judge he talking about.
Oh yeah,
Right.
no, yeah. But the other person was a migrant. So basically, what ICE is doing is going to these courthouses trying to get people too. And also, ICE is doing it where you might apply for a green card. They'll bring you in to apply. Then that's when they arrest you.
Now that's just sick.
It's all kind of tactics.
You're
Like,
trying to
how is you supposed to
lure
get a green
people.
card unless you apply? You apply, they'll bring you in for your interview. But when you come in for your green card interview, you get arrested.
But they
That's called
arrested the
luring.
judge.
Huh?
Well, because the judge wasn't going to allow it, so they arrested the judge too. But this
Yeah,
is
Right.
she
their new
arrested.
tactic. They're luring people before they would go in schools, before they would go to people's jobs. Now they're going to the courthouse.
Yeah.
It's just insane. It's just insane.
They really don't give a damn, right? Like all these rules is just for them to deport as many minorities as they can and dictate on what colleges can do, the shit they can teach, all this DEI stuff, right? But then now they coming out where Trump is going to start collecting on student loans May 5th on Cinco de Mayo, right? He got this special hate for Latinos or whatever, right? Because now they got this thing starting where they gonna start collecting on your student loans, and they saying if you in default by May 5th and haven't made a payment, then they gonna start garnishing your wages. They gonna take your Social Security if you got it, and they damn sure gonna take your tax return if you waiting on one.
Well,
So,
that's targeting our youth.
Mhm.
Young people go to college. Young people have student loans.
Right. So now here's Caroline Levitt's talking about it right now.
In other news, the Trump administration has announced we will put an end to Joe Biden's illegal student loan bailout attempts. No student loan has been referred to collection since March of 2020. That comes to an end. On May 5th, the Department of Education will resume involuntary collections for borrowers with defaulted federal student loans. The student loan portfolio controlled by the federal government is nearly $1.6 trillion, but fewer than 4 out of 10 borrowers are in repayment. This is unsustainable, unfair, and a huge liability for American taxpayers. Debt cannot be wiped away. It just ends up getting transferred to others. So why should Americans who didn't go to college or went to college and responsibly paid back their loans pay for the student loans of other Americans? The Trump administration will never force taxpayers to pay student loan debts that don't belong to them. Student loan borrowers need clarity, and we're finally giving it to them. Borrowers will now be clearly expected to repay their loans, and those who default on their loan obligations will face involuntary collections. The government can and will collect defaulted federal student loan debt by withholding money from borrowers' tax refunds, federal pensions, and even their wages. America is $36 trillion in debt. We must get our fiscal house in order and restore.
So basically, that's her just basically saying they ain't bullshitting. They coming for any check they can get from you. Social Security check, income tax check, garnish your wages for your regular job.
What do
They
you mean
coming to
by
get
the
your money.
Social Security check?
Huh?
What do you mean by their Social Security check?
So if you getting some kind of Social Security,
Uh-huh.
SI, well, whatever, any kind of Social Security,
You mean like
if any kind of
SSI
government-
for like disabled people?
yeah, it could be that. Or some people might have college loans and even be on Social Security at this point.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? They
Yeah.
saying they won't stop nowhere. Whether you're a senior citizen getting Social Security, if you owe some government loans, they coming to get it.
You could take money from somebody's Social Security or SSI? I've
That's
never
what
heard
they
of
say.
such.
And normally Social Security and those kind of things are sort of protected. But Trump
Right.
being Trump, this is what he's saying, that they coming to snatch your shit.
He can't do that. He just can't do that.
He can do
Disabled people need their money. Like, let's say you got a son with autism and he's in some home. You're saying they're going to come after that money?
No, if the people that went to college and didn't pay,
Oh,
you know, like we got a student loan and you
right.
don't pay
And you got to pay it back. They're going
And
to
you-
start garnishing your checks. What if you
but
can't pay? That's what I'm
They
saying.
ain't giving a damn how you pay your rent or how you take care of your family, Sherelle.
They
They don't
said they would take out your check.
they don't care about separating families, sending people to El Salvador, deporting them. They don't care.
Yeah, but can you take money from somebody that has SSI?
Yeah.
Well, look,
The
as far
government
as I
can.
know,
That's crazy.
most of the time it's sort of protected. Just from my opinion, I don't know for a fact, but Trump doing shit that he don't supposed to do anyway. If anybody know the answer, that can they take money from your Social Security?
You're
They
not
say-
supposed to, but I think that's what they're saying.
But it's never been a law that they can
Oh.
take money. But it ain't no law now that they can take your money or protecting your money. Social Security was never protected like that where they couldn't take your money. They just didn't do it. If you were,
Oh, okay.
I don't
Yes,
think
I
they
didn't
take the handicap. I don't believe that they can take the handicap people. But if you
Mhm.
work, you got a Social Security number. And they said, so that's mostly every American here got a Social Security number. So they just said whether you're working, ain't working, if you got a Social Security number, they coming after you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
Okay.
they're saying.
It's crazy. It's just
And
crazy.
then this is the other story I got about. I'm sure you heard about this too, Sherelle. Candace Owens. You know how she loved Trump, loved him, and then they kicked their ass to the curb. Now she's upset at Trump, and she had to vent on her channel. So here's some clips of her talking about his love affair with Netanyahu and how he's a disappointment, basically. So here's Candace Owens.
Is fighting against free speech in America. And that is very sad for me to say and to report as someone who has been a supporter of Donald Trump. We cannot allow our rights to be infringed upon. And if you think it's going to stop with college campuses, you're out of your mind. So you better buck up and root for Harvard University in this fight. You better hope that they defeat the Trump administration and this absurd definition. And they even include parts of the Bible. They're like, you can't say that the Jews had anything to do with Christ, killing Christ. Which is, you know what that is? It's not anti-Semitism, it's anti-Catholic way as an extension of that. Also the MAGA movement. It sort of feels like they're doing the bare minimum for Americans and what we actually put them in office for, and then doing the absolute maximum for like Bibi Netanyahu's entire agenda, while being like, well, but look, we did, at least Tom Homan did get out 2,000 criminals in the border. We've stopped it. And we've asked you for a lot more. The mandate was a lot more. And you seem to have in just 3 months done so much for Israel. You know what I mean? If we could dedicate that same energy to what you promised everyone that you were going to do for Americans, Americans, that would be great. But once again, we're left feeling like this is just a slave colony.
Yeah. And the fact that the movement is called America First originally, and that is a stroke of genius because it is so hard. They're trying their best, but it's so hard to make what they're doing look America first. And they're trying to do all these backwards arguments. Like, how is passing speech laws that like in some cases criminalize, or at the very least, kick you out of school, pull your federal funding if you criticize Israel? There are no laws about racism in America. If you Google right now, there is no recognized definition of racism by our government. But if you Google America's official definition of anti-Semitism, there's a whole page on the State Department's website about anti-Semitism. And so how do you call this America First when we are explicitly going against our First Amendment of our Constitution on behalf of a different nation? And inside of those guidelines, they specifically say that saying that Jewish people would have more allegiance to Israel than to America because they're Jewish, that's anti-Semitic to say. Crazy. While out of their mouths, they're saying we need to do these things for Israel, or like, I am a Jew first above all else. Things like that are like, how are we going along with this cognitive?
Trump really shocking the world and saying that the USA is just going to take over the Gaza Strip. So he hosted Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel, which I would have never done if I was president of the United States because of the things that he has done. And so one of the other favored lies about me in the media is that I agree with everything Trump says and he does. And I could not disagree more with this. I could not have been more vocal in my lack of support for any person who, whether left or right, who claims to be a good and a compassionate person who is okay with what is happening and what they are saying they're going to do, all statements which are on record before October 7th even happened. And in terms of Trump talking about the real estate of the property, saying they have to go, and Jared Kushner was on tape speaking about how much worth the property could be. And so for those of us who said, are there people who have already invested in this property and want to see it being built up because they are going to make a ton of money because the plan is to move these people from their homeland somewhere else? And we were called conspiracy theorists, and we were called Jew haters, and we were called anti-Semites. This is truly a moment of vindication, okay? It is a moment of vindication, and I do not agree with it at all.
So that was her pretty much, and everybody pretty much know Candace always kisses butt. But she's definitely right about him and a relationship with Israel.
Whatever, Harry. Candace Owens can go straight to hell.
Yeah, I know. I understand what you're saying. That's why I'm loving that she got to call out some of his shit. She would never call him out. She would praise him for no reason. Amarosa.
I don't care. I don't care if she grew a conscience. I don't care if she finally waking up. I don't care. I don't want to see her. I'm going to leave her over there with her people and make she rot in hell.
Well, I'll tell you that. I mean, because
he voted for all of this. Don't come back now. We don't want you.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead. I interrupted your speech. Go ahead.
I didn't show it to you to say she changed. I'm just saying, when Pop said, after a while, people going to have to start calling them out, even though they may not want to, but maybe it was a little break. And we know she's never going to be a Democrat or even take our side on things. I was just showing you that she was starting to go after Trump. That was my purpose.
What about you, Pop? Do you have sympathy for Candace, who wanted to be white her whole life and voted for Trump and down anything that was black, and now she wants to talk about her boy? Do you feel sympathy for her?
Not sympathy. It's just, she's just waking up. She waking up.
I don't care. She's destructive. She sat up there and told everyone how great Trump was and how, she thought she was above the rest, but something happened and she found out that she was black.
Yeah.
They kicked their ass to the curb.
Oh, really? That was happening? Yes. Something happened. Let me tell you, I don't know what happened, but something happened. And now she wants to stand against Trump and probably, I don't know, start saying she's a black woman. She will never be a black woman. We don't want her back. You've been kicked out the group, ma'am. So you check other on your application.
So
yeah, she done a lot of bad things and agreed with a lot of bad things. So, she's just getting what she deserved,
Mm-hmm.
You can't take some stuff you can't take back.
Right. Well, that's a fact. And she don't said enough. I mean, you couldn't tell her she wasn't white. She thought she was white.
She thought that she really believed it was fair, I think. I think she believed in what she was doing, but she was just real off track, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what they thought. So that happened. I wanted to show that. But then Michelle Obama finally came out. Remember how they kept saying, oh, the inauguration, why didn't she come and all that stuff? But today, Michelle had time so she actually came out. It was the other day, but she actually came out and spoke on it.
And keep striving. And so practice, keep pushing and keep striving. And so practicing no in a very different way intentionally. But then this is what makes it hard because, my decision to skip the inauguration, what people don't realize, or my decision to make choices at the beginning of this year that suited me were met with such ridicule and criticism. Like people couldn't believe that I was saying no for any other reason, that they had to assume that my marriage was falling apart.
Right.
It's like, while I'm here really trying to own my life and intentionally practice making the choice that was right for me, and it took everything in my power to not do the thing that was right or that was perceived as right, but do the thing that was right for me. That was a hard thing for me to do. I had to basically trick myself out of it. And it started with not having anything to wear. I mean, I had affirmatively, because I'm always prepared for any funeral, anything. I walk around with the right dress. I travel with clothes just in case something pops off. So I was like, if I'm not going to do this thing, I got to tell my team, I don't even want to have a dress ready. Right? Because it's so easy to just say, let me do the right thing.
But then you become a shock absorber. And that's what women are, shock absorbers. And that's exhausting. And it's not healthy. It is not healthy. You've had to be shock absorbers for your husband, for your children, for your mom, for your family, your loved ones, because of where you were sitting in the public eye. That's not fair to you. When do you ever get to live for you? I applaud you. I'm happy that you are taking care of yourself in the way that you need to.
That's right, Michelle. You didn't have to go a damn place. I mean, they can't dictate where you go.
I mean, people, the way that Donald Trump talked about her husband and her kids and her, I'm glad she didn't go. It was a snub in the face, a big F you to Donald Trump, and she need to not go to nothing else because that man is racist and said the most degrading things about your husband and your children and you. Live your life. I'm glad she's not in politics anymore. I'm sure it drained her and Barack. I see her with her black girl braids. That she will be my forever first lady, and her strength is just amazing. While everybody's caving to this nut job and trying to get on his good list, Michelle Obama said, I ain't playing these games with you no more. I love her. I'll forever love her. She's my forever first lady.
Right. No. And Pops, anything to add to that?
She said it all.
Well,
go ahead, Gary.
I'm sorry. I thought she was going to keep talking. But no, she is the queen, and much respect to Michelle Obama. And Barack. So, people want to criticize her for not doing this. They don't say shit. Why are you worried about what Michelle doing? Why ain't you asking Trump where's his wife at when he out here giving these press conferences? Ain't nobody asking where she at. You notice that?
Do you remember when Barack Obama said that I mean, when Donald Trump said that Barack Obama wasn't born in the United States and all this craziness, and he hangs out with terrorists, and I mean, the lies was unbelievable. But I think that Donald Trump secretly has a hatred towards Barack Obama because he will never be respected like Barack Obama. When Barack Obama won presidency, people came out in the streets, were cheering, unprecedented numbers. Just everybody came out, big cheers. You could hear. And when he became president, the first term, protests. This time, he didn't even have enough people to do it outside. They brought it inside because they don't have enough people. But they want you to think that Donald Trump has all this support. No, nobody likes Donald Trump. He has to pay for his support.
Yeah. That's a fact. That's a fact. But Pops, anything? Because that's my story for the day. I got to go take care of some business after this. So anything else, Pops?
Yeah.
Anything else to say?
Be strong. See y'all next time.
Hey, I want to say to everybody, thank you for jumping in. And I know it was like a couple of topics we had to talk about, but what you think? Did Trump cave in? Tell me your thoughts about the student loans. I know if you get a loan, you should pay it. But to put it on hold while we get America together is one thing too. Where people can get jobs to pay it off, afford to eat, and all these things. Do you think Trump planned on starting a WAR? Let me know in the comments, and please give this video a like if you haven't. Please subscribe to the channel. I want to thank everybody that's been supporting the channel, showing up, liking, and things like that. So
don't forget about your TikTok.
Oh, this is what I was going to say too on TikTok. I go on there pretty much every day. I'm not going to go live every day, but at least on TikTok, I'll be over there putting out things every day. It's at Perry Sanders 1, all one word, Perry Sanders, then the number 1 on TikTok. Subscribe to that. Until next time, people, have a nice.
And don't forget this also too. Perry has to start putting out more regular videos. So when he doesn't come on, he'll be on TikTok, which is 3 minutes, and you can get a quick update, or a little more longer under his regular long form videos.
Yeah. Thank you, honey.
Sorry.
Oh, no, you good, because I'll be forgetting. But thanks for joining everybody, and have a great weekend. On 3, let's say bye. 1, 2, 3. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Bye.